And we're beginning.
Hello, I am Kim Benson. This is Descendant and Zoe. And today we're going to take a set of wither tracings and review how to do that. We like the horse to be standing square, level if possible. I've already marked the places we're going to take the tracing from. Descendant's a good one to view this on because we have a real easy view of the back of his scapula. I've placed my tape right behind the shoulder blade. 2 fingers behind that is tree point, as we all know where we place the front of our dressage saddle's tree point, or tree point on any jump saddle. This is the deepest part of the back, and then I've also traced up the 18th rib to mark that last tracing guide. You already have your flexicurve, ruler, your tracing guide, or a file folder if you don't have one, and a good marker. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my flexicurve. I place it over that second tape mark, and I just stroke gently so that it forms the outline of the horse's body evenly on both sides. Once I'm ready to take the ruler over, I keep track of which side is left and right. I'm going to place that on my folder. And then we're going to draw the inside of the flexicurve. So there's tracing A. That's probably one of the most important ones to get the tree width correct. Let's go on to tracing B, or the deepest part of the back. You can see with Descendant, a lot of horses get wider here on this bigger rib portion of the rib cage muscles than here. So it's really important that we get the entire length of the drawing. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at that 18th rib. Checking again I'm in the right place. On the really tall horses, you may need a helper on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and label left and right, reminding you each time not to turn your ruler so we keep track of the left. You'll find, like with my horse, there's some asymmetry here. It shouldn't alarm you. It's some good information to keep track of. Now we want to view the top line of the horse. I'm going to make my ruler straight, and let's ask him to square up again. Good boy. I'm going to start this drawing from way up here at the top of the wither at tree point and come all the way back to that 18th rib.
Kim, can you stand to the side a little bit? There you go. Thank you.
You can see with Descendant that this is a pretty big drop. He has a very high. That's a good 2 inches. So I'm going to mark here below line D. There's line D, which represents level. And we're right. That's about 3.5 fingers there. So I'm going to say a 3.5 or 2 inch. Now we're going to make reference to the entire top line and line up that 18th rib with that marking. So again, I start at tree point. Just right along the top of that spine. That looks good, pretty significant drop. That really gives me a good view from his wither how deep the lowest part of his back is and how much panel and gusset we need to build into the rear of the saddle. If you can't find a FlexiCurve electrical wire with plastic coating will mold. Very easy. Most of all hardware stores carry that. Sort of frown on the old coat hanger because it's not very malleable. In the heat, the cheap office supply FlexiCurve can wilt. If it's fresh, it's pretty firm. That's important to get a good outline. There's one other area that I really pay attention to as a saddler, and that is base of wither. Sometimes the base of the wither and the deepest spot of the back are very separate. This horse, it's very close together, isn't it? By my definition, the end of his wither is right there, and that isn't too far off of the deepest part of the back. If that had great disparity, I'd be interested in knowing this demarcation as well. This is an area I find with some trees gets too much congestion side to side. So just for my purposes, I'm going to draw that again. I'm putting this right between our A and B. So I have tree point, base of wither, widest part of back, and 18th rib. It's often nice to label these so nobody has confusion, especially on our round guys where there's not a lot of change in those figures. This represents the entire saddle area for Descendant here. Just to review again, we've come behind that shoulder blade scapula It's a really clear image with him. And like my favorite manufacturer says, 3 girly fingers or 2 behind your first tape mark is tree point. Here we have deepest part of back. We added base of wither. And then way back here, our 18th rib, where we really don't want to see any weight-bearing saddle panel behind that last rib over these sensitive finger ribs. Then we demonstrated with our straight ruler what the true drop of his back was from wither to low back. That gives us a really clear image of descendant. It's not as pretty as he is. Thanks for your time. Call with any questions.